when it comes to understanding other people, and hi guys, don't mind the hair. I got a little bit of a hairdo. Hairdresser, my mom. Anyway, I just wanted to come on here and express a little bit of a message that came very spontaneously. It was extremely unplanned. I didn't even know I was going to talk about this, whatever. I just said the same thing 3 times. But anyway, people in life are going to experience very different seasons at very different times. Whether they experience a season in a manner that is more intense than somebody else is incredibly subjective, because everyone is so different and takes different experiences, or actually the same experiences, in completely different ways. Shit, I just realized I look like O'Hare. Sorry for breaking off of the seriousness. There's always going to be those people in life, and this includes you, who they may not look like it now, but they are trying to live one day at a time. Their core objective was not the goals that they had planned for themselves before studies came or before high school came, where they wanted to become this dream thing. But now that they were turned into another path, they feel like they're being misled. They feel like they could possibly go back home. And I'm not talking about home on earth. And sometimes that's how deep it can go, if it pushes them far enough. Not saying that 100% of the time it happens, but I'm just saying that it gets so intense where, and I remember saying this to myself multiple times over, it's very human for someone to try and bring the possibilities of the future that they do not have concluded nor statistically have evidence that it is proven or true to happen. And they like to bring that into the present. The problem with that is that human pain has a way of dragging the future into the present, so much so as to make the present almost unfathomable, almost unbearable, where you can't even live today regardless of happy or nice things happening to you. That's what a lot of people are going through right now. And I know some people who are doing that. And it's actually so painful to see them like that, especially when you are in the space yourself. I think if there was one thing that God had absolutely given me during this journey throughout this year of being in a space that I knew from the very beginning I was not supposed to be in, although I wasn't heard initially, but things are gonna change, and I know it for the better, and I know that my dad has got it. But one thing that I have most certainly learned is a deep level of self-awareness. That is one thing that you are not born with. That is the one gift that comes with time, pressure, pain, exhaustion. Not saying that pressure and pain and struggle are the only ways you can be able to get self-awareness. It's not the only ways. The main reason why I highlight those ways is because pain, struggling, and etc. forces you to look internally and ask yourself, what is terribly going wrong? That is the one thing that then starts to build self-awareness, deep levels of self-awareness. And you will know exactly how deep, depending on how descriptive you can be in an emotion or feeling. For example, if there's somebody who gets frustrated, for example, over a breakup, you're not just going to say, and this is like, I'm going to compare it right now, right? There's a surface level answer, and then there's a deep answer of what they're actually feeling. The surface level answer. Someone broke up with them. They don't know why they broke up with them. They're crying because they broke up with them. And they just have a whole mental breakdown. That's basically surface level, right? We all know that that happens one way or another to somebody else. And a lot of us are going to be able to identify that. But why? Because we are human. We have human qualities as such. But then we got the deep level of self-awareness. This is where it gets a little bit different. Break up with someone. Oh, no. Actually, someone breaks up with you. You then start to reminisce on all of the good. First of all, before that even comes, confusion. Why are they breaking up with me? Deeper confusion where it almost feels very abstract. Where it almost feels very abstract. Like you're so confused. This came out of nowhere. Why would they want to break up with me? Third thing, you start to reminisce on the past experiences, good experiences that you had with this person. All the good times, the laughter, the smiles, which actually cause even more confusion, because now you say to yourself, but wait, we had all of these good times. We had so much fun with each other. There was what looked to be so much potential because of how indulgent we were in each other. It confuses me as to why we break up why we're breaking up if that happened. If all those good qualities happened. Confusion comes in. Frustration comes in. Why? Because the further on doesn't make sense. Right? Because you say to yourself, but why? I thought we had something nice going on. I would have loved you. You would have loved me if we just pushed a little bit more into the territory. What happens then afterwards? It grows from consistent confusion where it just goes faster and faster and faster. Why? Because it's so rapid and it grows how negatively you feel in that moment, because this person just broke up with you. Y'all have such good memories. You start to reminisce on those good memories, and then you're confused as to why they're breaking up with you if you had these good memories in the first place, if there was no sign of y'all going to be breaking up in the future. And then that sadness turns into pure anger. I'm so frustrated that we had spent all this time together and they just made it look like they wanted to let it go. We spent all this happiness, all this joy, etc. Because now the one thing that we like to do as human beings is we like to be absolute. What does absolute mean? We like to make conclusions and sometimes very... What's the right adjective for this? Very solid. Or I wouldn't say solid. Let's say something that's a little bit more dense. Hold on. Very, very anchored. Toughly anchored to the ground. You make very anchored assumptions or conclusions about things that are not always 100% true. And that comes purely from emotion that you feel like you cannot escape in that moment. Okay? Sorry, the hair is just beaming with joy. I am your new CEO. Okay, but not to make the video too long. To continue, you get frustrated and then you lash out on this person. How dare you, after all the times we've been through, of all of this we've been through. That's why people say after all the times we've been through, you want to break up. Because it comes from those series of events. And that's only something that you realize when you have deep self-awareness. Because when you have self-awareness, you understand what's happening to yourself in real time. It's almost like you are observing yourself from third person. And then that's where resentment comes in. That's where pain comes in. And then that's where it can grow, because forgiveness was not part of the equation. So if there's one thing that I definitely learned about trying to keep my shit together, it's about remembering what Jesus did with the disciples. Every single time they worried. When was the next day we were going to eat? When was the next day we were going to sleep? When was the next day we were going to drink water? Not even wine, water. What did he say? Focus on the present. That's exactly what he said. Focus on the present. He reminded them to focus on the present. Not exactly what he said, though. It's what's implied. Focus on the present. Focus on what's going on right near in your cities. Okay? Focus on what's happening around you. Look at the environment around you. What is around you? Cupboard, towel. There was almost a second towel up there because I forgot about that one. Hey, what's going on? You have a blazer. Kyk wat doen 'n blazer. Kyk wat doen 'n blazer. You have a gown. You're wearing clothes. I have glasses on my face. I'm recording myself on my laptop. I feel my hands. I'm holding a pen. I'm writing with the pen. So this is almost like a little bit of a mini vlog, not only for you guys, but for myself. Because it's almost like a diary entry. Okay? The one thing that you always try and do, bring yourself into the present as many times as possible. Whether that is naming 5 things that you can smell, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can see, 2 that you can taste, and 1 that you can... What's the last sense? Hear. I think it's the other way around. I don't know. You can categorize it as much as you want. You can be creative. Everybody's so creative. Why? Because everybody's so creative. I look like O'Hare, and I'm not going to forget about that. Anyway, that's the message for today. Take care of yourselves. Love yous. In summary, you do not know what anybody's going through. And the thing is, if they cry often, or if they're upset often, it's mostly because they feel like they're being unheard in the environment which they're surrounded. And sometimes it would just be nice not to have their problem solved, but to actually have someone else in a completely different state of mind who understands what the hell is going on.